Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth, a sacred summit carved by time and tectonic force. For millions of years, Everest stood untouched, one of our planet's last great wild places. A pristine natural wonder, cloaked in snow, kissed by the clouds. But now this majestic peak is under siege. Its icy slopes are littered with garbage, soaked in human waste and scarred by pollution. Everest is not just in trouble. Everest is being violated. What was once a temple of nature is being turned into the world's highest garbage dump. From rotting tents to plastic bottles, abandoned oxygen canisters, and something far worse, human feces. Mount Everest is being buried not only by snow, but also by our waste. Hi explorers, join me on a journey to the roof of the world, where beauty meets crisis, and the fight to save Everest is running out of time. How Everest came to be. Over 200 million years ago, Earth looked very different. All continents were fused into a single supercontinent, Pangaea. As tectonic plates shifted, the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate, pushing land skyward to form the Himalayas. Out of this colossal clash, Everest was born, a sacred mountain, a geological wonder. But now it faces a modern threat, us, the humans. The beginning of the climb and the mess. What started as a challenge for a few mountaineers has become a global obsession. Every year, over 60,000 adventurers march toward the Everest region, some chasing glory, others seeking personal challenge or accomplishment. But no quest, no matter how noble, justifies the damage left behind. Torn sleeping bags, spent oxygen tanks, shattered gear, rotting food. Everest is being buried under the weight of human ambition. The mountain that inspires awe deserves respect, not ruin. High up at South Col, 26,000 feet above sea level, over 40 tons of trash are believed to be frozen into the mountain. This spot, just below the summit, is now called the world's highest garbage dump. It is not just recent climbers. Decades of expeditions have left layer after toxic layer of garbage. And it gets worse. The garbage crisis. At South Col, a wasteland lies frozen into the rock and ice. Years of discarded tents, broken crampons, shredded ropes, gas canisters, and torn prayer flags now coat the landscape. In 2019 alone, a cleanup crew removed over 24,000 pounds of solid waste. And that was just scraping the surface. Scientists have now detected microplastics in Everest's snow, in its glacial meltwater, and even in samples from the summit. The human waste disaster. Every climbing season, over 15,000 pounds of human feces are left on the mountain. That is the weight of a school bus, made of excrement. Some are dumped in open pits, others tossed into crevices. What doesn't freeze leaches into the ice. What doesn't stay seeps into rivers. Across the high camps of Everest, over 3 tons of human waste are embedded into its icy slopes. A frozen trail of neglect, carved into the heart of one of Earth's last untamed wonders. Health and environmental collapse. That human waste does not stay on the mountain. Everest glaciers feed into rivers that provide water to over 1.3 billion people across Asia. When feces mix with glacial meltwater, they poison the very source of life for villages downstream. During monsoon season, waste from Everest Base Camp is flushed into the Dudh Kosi River, a lifeline that flows into the sacred Ganges. This contaminated water seeps into farmlands, enters homes, and fills the drinking cups of millions. If this mounting waste problem is not contained, It could erupt into an environmental health catastrophe, spreading illness, polluting food systems, and endangering countless lives across South Asia. With no waste disposal systems in many high-altitude villages, plastic waste is burnt. Backpacks, bottles, even rubber and clothing. The toxic smoke contains dioxins, mercury, and other carcinogens. In this sacred space, once reserved for the gods, we are now suffocating the sky. The cost to people and planet. Around Everest, ecosystems are unraveling. Fragile mosses are buried under wrappers. Snow leopards, red pandas, and other unique species are losing their habitats to garbage. The stench of feces around base camp attracts flies and spreads bacteria. Villagers, porters, and Sherpas face rising cases of respiratory illness and waterborne disease. Who is responsible? So who is responsible for turning a sacred mountain into a trash heap? Is it the wealthy climbers who pay upwards of $50,000 to reach the summit, yet cannot carry their own trash down? Is it the tour companies who profit off overcrowded expeditions but often cut corners when it comes to environmental care? Is it the governments who fail to enforce regulations on one of the world's most fragile ecosystems? Or is it every one of us for glorifying the summit, for turning a natural wonder into a bucket list selfie? Meanwhile, it is the Sherpas, the mountain's stewards, who bear the brunt, risking their lives to carry down trash so the mountain can breathe. Solutions in progress, but are they enough? Change is happening. Slowly, climbers must now carry biodegradable toilet bags and face fines if they leave trash. A $4,000 trash deposit is required, refunded only if climbers return with their garbage. The Carry Me Back project by Sagarmatha next enlists truckers to help remove trash from Everest by carrying small amounts of waste down the mountain. Then artists transform the trash into stunning sculptures to raise awareness. The Mount Everest Biogas Project is converting human waste into methane gas to provide clean energy to villages below. Drones are being tested to airlift garbage from high elevations too dangerous for humans. In 2024, the Nepalese army cleaned Everest, Nuptse, and Lhotse, removing 11 tons of rubbish, 4 corpses, and 1 skeleton. Since 2019, they have recovered 119 tons of trash, 14 bodies, and several skeletons. Still, over 50 tons of waste and more than 200 bodies remain on Everest. And Everest is still in danger. Can Everest be saved? Mount Everest is more than a mountain. It is a pristine natural wonder that is meant to be admired, respected, and preserved for time immemorial. But now it risks becoming a monument to what we have thrown away. We are standing at a turning point. Will we restore this crown of nature or let it rot under our footprints? We must act urgently. The path forward, the roof of the world is crying out, not in avalanches or tremors, but in silence, buried under layers of garbage and greed. We still have a chance to protect Everest. Let us not let the world's highest peak become humanity's worst failure. Mount Everest is a reflection of how we treat our planet. And right now, it is screaming for help. Share the story. Talk about it, because Everest should remain a sacred place filled with wonder. Let's restore Everest to its majestic glory. Please like, share, and subscribe for more environmental stories. Happy learning. Thank you.